All right, Wyatt, hell of a session tonight. Really proud of you. Two pitches that were higher, slightly higher than your previous best. So yeah, I think you had a 66.2 and a 66.1, where previously you hit 66 flat one time, and it was 40 degrees out, and you were hitting those speeds consistently. So really good job on that. What I want to focus on in this quick video review is the release points, and we talked about this. We stopped in the middle of the session tonight and talked about it, and I think you're really starting to understand the art of pitching and what you need to do to deceive the batter on what pitch is coming, right? And that's pretty cool to see, especially someone at 14U that's understanding it that well, to make the adjustment you did. So I think we started out, we went 6 fastballs, then we went 4 two-seams, and then we threw a few sliders, and we stopped, and I showed you on the iPad the release point difference, right? So, right, your fastballs, so this is the average, right? Your average release point for all of the pitch types that you threw today. So blue is going to be your 4-seam. I'm sorry, red's going to be your 4-seam, blue's going to be your 2-seam, yellow is your changeup, and then the green one's the slider. And so at that point, before we threw the changeup tonight, I pointed out that your slider's coming out more away from the body out here, and then your fastballs are coming out from over here, closer into the body, and a really good hitter, especially the varsity level around here, they're going to pick up on that. And so you asked a really good question. Do I want you to bring the slider release point in closer? And I said no, I don't want to mess with that right now because your slider's moving so well. I mean, every slider that you threw at that point was disgusting. So we don't want to change that because you're getting good movement on the ball. And I said, let's go to the changeup now and see if we can fit that changeup in between. So right, sliders here, fastballs here. If we can fit a good changeup in between those two, it's going to fill that gap and it's going to make it less obvious to the hitter which is a fastball and which is a slider. If it's going to be harder for them to even pick up that you're changing your release points. And as you can see right here, that's exactly what you did. Like, this is almost perfect on that. And I've got it zoomed in, so it's looking way more drastic than it normally would. Right, if we go over here to the blob, so this is a all 30 pitches that you threw tonight, all on one release graphic, release point graphic. You had one that was kind of an outlier down here at the bottom, and then you had one that was an outlier more out to the side here, but you filled in that gap in between. And so that's going to make it very difficult for the hitters to figure out what pitch is coming because you filled in that gap so perfectly. So that's really impressive to see from somebody that's only at 14U. Like that's a more like college level type understanding, or even pro level understanding of how to fill that in and deceive the batter. So really good job. And then let's see, 66.2. Where are we at? 66.2 is your fastest today. What I really like here too, if I scroll down, let's look at all the 4-seam fastballs. Look at your spin rates. Outside of that one, your 4-seam was spinning consistent. And then over here, the spin efficiency, 99.5, 96.7, 99.6, 95.2, 95.1, right? And then up here, your 66.1, 99.9% efficient. And I think your fastest 4-seam spin rate was at 1695. Is that right? Let's see. No, you got a 1706 in there too. 1703. So you were really consistent on the fastball, and then that last one that we threw back up over 16. You're really consistent. So your spin efficiency has improved so much to be consistent like that, right? Like, you were hitting the high numbers, but then you'd have a few that would also fall off, be dead less. And so that was really good. All right, so the yellow ones are going to be changeups, and we see a nice drop off on the spin rate. So the reason the changeup is gonna dive down is because you lower the spin rate on it. So gravity is gonna have more effect on it. I mean, this was a fantastic changeup right here. Look at that, 100% spin efficiency, and you dropped it down to 935 RPMs. That's over 600 RPMs slower than your fastball. So that's going to be a big difference, and you can see it's a 10-mile-an-hour difference there. And I told you we're going to talk more about the pitch sequencing as we get closer to January. But this is fantastic. Your changeup is so far away from your fastball, that's going to be out of the batter's attention, and you're going to be able to get a lot of whiffs on using this properly, right? And then if we look at the slider, we didn't throw a ton of sliders. I think we threw 5 total today. Your slider is also very different from your fastball. You're getting, I mean, that was, 16 miles an hour difference? All right, so ideally what we're going to do at the point that we need to make a change to the slider, which we don't right now because the slider is moving really, really well. But if at some point we notice that that's getting hit too much or it's not having the effect that we want, I'm going to want to increase your pitch speed on the slider. So we'll get a little bit less movement on it, right? You're getting, let's see, we don't have it on here, on this one. We don't have vertical on this one. Yeah, we do. Vertical right here. So like on your sliders, look, you're getting 17 inches, 14 inches, 17 inches, 9 inches. All right, that's 17. Never mind. That was a changeup. That's why it's negative. All right, you're getting really 11 inches right there. You're getting really good horizontal on it, and you're not getting much vertical on it. And I think we can really turn that into a nasty, faster pitch if we need to. I don't know that we need to. It's just going to be determined how it plays when we have a batter up there. Which brings up the point: the slider and the changeup aren't really that different in speed, right? So if we just focus on these, your changeups are sitting 52 to 54, and your slider is sitting 49 to 52. Right, and I feel like I might have mentioned it to you at some point, but the batter's attention window is a plus or minus 4 miles an hour, according to the research, right? So if a pitch is within that +4 or -4 window, so you have an 8 mile an hour window, if the pitch is within that, it's a higher chance of a batter putting that in play, if the location is similar, all right? So right here, if I was calling your pitches or suggesting pitch sequencing to you, I wouldn't really pitch many of these back to back in a similar location, right? If you're going slider, low and away, you can go change up inside. That's a different story. But if you're trying to set up a batter, for striking out on a fastball or something like that, you're not going to really be able to sequence these two together in a tunneling sequence or a tunneling situation very effectively because the speeds are so different. So at the point, like I said, at the point that we determine this slider, even with all of its movement, isn't being effective, I want to speed that up a little bit to be in between your changeup and your fastball. This way, it'll give you something that you can more effectively set the batters up with. All right, but overall, really good job today. Really happy with the way the release points are looking as well.